My daughter Clara had just started kindergarten when I got a notification from the class group chat. Hi everyone, I'm Juliana, and my daughter Camila transferred to this school today. The group quickly filled with welcome messages. As I was about to type my own, a long text appeared. Important notice from Camila's mom. Girls in the class, please take note. Starting next week, I will post a picture of what my daughter is wearing every day. Make sure your daughters don't wear the same thing. I also ask that everyone switch to the same brand of detergent we use. My daughter has a very sensitive nose and can't tolerate other scents. Finally, my daughter was born by a C-section and is a bit shy, so I ask you to teach your children not to bully her and to always treat her with priority.
Wow.
I couldn't help but think, this isn't just a new student, it's a royal princess mingling with us commoners. Some moms quickly pushed back. Gabriella's mom said bluntly, "Are you serious? What my daughter wears is none of your business. Why should we cater to your demands?" Sophia's mom chimed in, "Exactly. And we're all supposed to use your detergent? My son has allergies, and we use something specific. Who made your daughter queen of the class? My kid is special too." The group quickly turned into a debate. Normally, I just laugh at the ridiculous things parents said in the chat, and the class teacher, who is the admin, would usually step in to calm things down. Since I didn't see an issue, I muted the chat and went back to work. Later, I got a private message from Carla, Alice's mom, who is friends with Clara. "Marina, you need to check the chat. It's about Clara." I opened the group chat and saw a photo. It had clearly been taken secretly, and it was of my daughter, Clara. As I was about to ask what was going on, a long paragraph appeared. My daughter wore her diamond hair clips the other day, and they went missing. It's not a big deal, we can buy more. But today, I saw those clips in Clara's hair. Clara's mom, you need to explain yourself. I was tagged in the message, and my blood ran cold. Explain myself? What she meant was that Clara had stolen them. Normally, I try to be reasonable, but when it comes to my daughter, I don't play games. I replied immediately. "Are you saying my daughter stole your daughter's diamond hair clips?" Juliana responded, "Isn't it obvious? My daughter's clips went missing, and now they're in Clara's hair. Everyone can see. So having the same clips means she stole them? That's your proof?" I shot back. "You're talking absolute nonsense. If you like accusing people, maybe you should be a detective or a lawyer." I continued, "Take a good look with those eyes that aren't full of sleep. My daughter's clips were custom-made for her birthday, and they have her initials on them." I sent a close-up picture of Clara's clips in the chat. "If you lose something, call the police. Don't accuse a 5-year-old. We've all been through elementary school. We should know better." She clearly didn't expect me to be so direct, and went silent. Another mom tried to smooth things over. "Marina, you're being a bit harsh. This is a civilized group. We're all educated adults." I replied without hesitation. "Really? You didn't see a problem with her accusing my daughter of theft? Calling a 5-year-old a thief is civilized? Well, if it happens to your child, I hope you can maintain your civility. You two are the same. One talks nonsense, and the other tries to sound morally superior while staying ignorant. Look at your profile pictures. Both of you are using the same scenic photo. What are the chances?" The group exploded. The teacher eventually removed Camila's dad from the chat to calm everyone down. After that, Camila's parents started giving me dirty looks, but I didn't care. As long as they left my daughter alone, I could stay civil. That afternoon, I went to pick up Clara. Normally, she'd run to me with a big smile, but that day, she looked downcast. On the way home, I asked, "Honey, did something happen at school today?" "Mommy, what's a mistress?" My heart froze. "Why are you asking that? Where did you hear it?" "Today, Camila said you're a horrible mistress and that I'm a horrible mistress's child." Clara started crying, and my anger boiled over. How dare they call my daughter something like that? I held back my urge to confront them immediately and instead comforted Clara. "Honey, you are our treasure." Not what they said. "Daddy loves you and calls you all the time, right? You're our special girl." After calming her down, I promised myself I'd handle this. The next day, I went to speak with the teacher. She insinuated that Clara was the problem, but I asked to see the security footage. Reluctantly, she agreed. As I reviewed the footage, I saw clear evidence of Camila pulling Clara's hair and stealing her toys. After watching the recordings, I couldn't contain my indignation. With every scene, it became clearer that my daughter was a constant target for Camila. Clara had been pushed, intimidated, and even ignored during games while the little princess took control of everything. My heart ached with every second I spent watching those videos, but at the same time, my anger grew. It was impossible to ignore how deliberate it all seemed, as if Camila had been encouraged to act that way. Once I finished watching, I turned to the teacher. "And now, what do you have to say?" Because clearly my daughter is not the problem here. She looked uncomfortable, avoiding my gaze. "Well, Marina, maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Kids this age," I interrupted.
No.
"Don't come at me with that 'kids this age' excuse. It's all recorded."
You saw what I saw.
My daughter is being bullied daily, and you, as her teacher, failed to protect her. She stayed silent for a few moments before responding. "I'll talk to Camila's parents. I'm sure they didn't know she was acting like that." I let out a dry laugh. "Didn't know? Oh, please. The same parents who demand that all children use the same detergent they do? Who accused my daughter of stealing something without even investigating? Don't make me laugh. But you know what? I'll talk to them myself." She tried to stop me, saying it was better to handle this officially, but it was too late. I was far too furious to wait. That same afternoon, I went to pick up Clara. As soon as I saw her, I ran to hug her. My little girl looked so fragile, yet she still tried to smile at me. Once we got home, I asked her to tell me more about what was happening at school. Hesitant at first, she started to open up. "Camila always wants to be first at everything, Mommy. If I'm playing on the swing, she tells me to get off. If I don't, she pushes me. Sometimes she takes my things and says they're hers." I tried to tell the teacher, but she never does anything. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm in front of Clara. "You did the right thing, sweetheart. Don't worry. Mommy will take care of this, I promise." The next morning, I went straight to Camila's parents. I found Juliana at the school gate, with that same air of superiority she always had. She was talking to another parent when I approached. "We need to talk," I said, crossing my arms. She looked me up and down, as if I were some kind of inconvenience. "About what?" "About your daughter's behavior toward mine." Juliana let out a short laugh. "Oh, please, Marina. Don't start with this. Kids fight all the time. It's not a fight when one child is constantly pushed, intimidated, and humiliated by another."
And you knew this.
Her smile disappeared. "I don't know what you're talking about. I have videos. Videos showing your daughter pulling my daughter's hair, taking her toys, and pushing her. So, if you didn't know before, now you do." She tried to argue, but I didn't give her a chance. "And don't think this ends here. I've already spoken with the teacher, and if this continues, I'll take it to the school administration, and if necessary, to the school board. My daughter will not be treated like this." Juliana finally seemed to lose her composure. "You're overreacting. Camila is just a child. And maybe, if Clara weren't so sensitive, this wouldn't be happening." I stepped closer, pointing my finger at her. "My daughter is sensitive because she is well-mannered, because she respects others, something that's clearly lacking in your household. And if you think I'll let this continue, you're sorely mistaken." Meanwhile, Clara started showing signs of anxiety every time we went to school. Camila now made a point of saying offensive things in front of others, trying to provoke my daughter. In one of those moments, Clara came home crying, saying that Camila had called her boring and poor because she didn't have the same branded toys. That was the last straw. The next day, I requested a meeting with the school principal. I explained everything, showed the videos, and even shared messages from the parent group. There was no way to ignore what was happening. The principal promised to take action, but I knew I had to go further. I started gathering other parents, sharing the story and the videos. Many were already fed up with Juliana's authoritarian behavior and began siding with me. When Juliana found out, She tried to confront me, saying I was ruining her reputation. I simply smiled and replied, "Maybe if you taught your daughter to treat others with respect, there would be nothing to ruin." She was left speechless, trying to maintain her superior posture, but clearly uncomfortable with how the other parents started looking at us. The silence around us was almost deafening, and I took the opportunity to turn and walk away. But as I walked away, something inside me knew this wasn't enough. Clara's words still echoed in my head. The pushing on the playground, the stolen toys, the insults. It wasn't just Camila. Juliana had been complicit in everything, encouraging her daughter's behavior with her ridiculous demands and arrogant attitude. I could feel the anger rising again. This woman messed with the most precious thing in my world, my daughter. And this wasn't going to end here. If Juliana thought it was over, she was gravely mistaken. I knew exactly how to deal with someone like her. It wouldn't be in front of everyone, nor with more direct confrontations.
No.
I had a much better idea. As I walked home with Clara, a sense of determination washed over me. My daughter was safe, and that was the most important thing. But Juliana needed to learn one thing. Messing with Clara was the biggest mistake she ever made. And I knew exactly how to get my revenge. No one messes with my daughter. After that last conversation with Juliana, something inside me boiled over. I knew the problem wasn't just Camila, but also her mother, who allowed and even encouraged that toxic behavior. However, simply reacting was no longer enough. I needed to take drastic action to ensure that my daughter, and no other child, would ever go through something like this again. The next day, I invited some of the other moms from the class over to my house for coffee. I showed them the videos I had collected and shared the messages from the parent group, where Juliana had clearly positioned herself as superior while disregarding other children. It didn't take long for them to start venting. "My daughter has also complained about Camila," said Gabriella's mom. "She always wants to be the center of attention. And Juliana is unbearable," added another mom. "With her ridiculous demands and the way she talks down to us, it's disgusting. We need to do something," I said, looking each of them in the eye. "If the school won't take action, we can show them our strength. What if we pull all our daughters out? Let's see how they deal with an empty classroom." They agreed immediately. It was time to act. We rallied all the moms who had experienced issues with Juliana and Camila, and we requested a meeting with the school administration. The principal looked uneasy as we entered her office together, but it was impossible for her to ignore the gravity of the situation. "We're here because something needs to change," I began. "Camila isn't just a disobedient child. She bullies, assaults, and manipulates, and her mother supports her in everything. If the school doesn't expel Camila, we'll pull our daughters out. All of them." The principal's eyes widened in shock. "Ladies, please, let's resolve this peacefully. There's no need to take such extreme measures." Another mom stepped forward. "With all due respect, we've already tried to resolve this peacefully. We've shown proof, we've asked for change, and nothing happened. If you don't act now, this will be the end." The principal tried to argue, but it was clear she had no way out. "I'll give you an answer tomorrow," she said finally, visibly defeated. The next day, as I was dropping off Clara at school, I saw Juliana at the gate. She had clearly been informed about the pressure we'd put on the administration, and from the look on her face, I could tell she was furious. As soon as she saw me, she marched over with that air of superiority I knew so well. "Do you really think you can threaten the school?" she started, her voice dripping with disdain. "Just because you're frustrated with your mediocre life, you think you can drag everyone down to your level. But what can we expect from someone like you? A poor, trashy troublemaker who doesn't know her place?" That was the final straw. Before I even realized it, my hand had already moved. The sound of the slap echoed across the courtyard, and Juliana stood frozen, holding her face with wide, shocked eyes. "Do you think you can mess with my daughter and get away with it?" I said, my voice cold and steady. "If you can't teach your daughter manners, then I'll teach the mother. You should never have messed with my family." Juliana stepped back, her eyes filling with tears, as the people around us watched in silence. Without another word, she turned and ran off, crying. By the end of that day, We received the news. Camila had been officially expelled from the school, along with Juliana. The announcement was met with a mix of relief and satisfaction from the moms who had joined our effort. When I got home, Clara was peacefully playing in her room. I sat on the couch and took a deep breath. Although I had achieved what I set out to do, I didn't feel particularly proud of what I had done. Confronting Juliana in that way wasn't something I had planned, but it had been inevitable. Even so, there was a small sense of satisfaction in knowing my daughter was finally safe. If Juliana thought she could intimidate others without consequences, she now knew there were limits. And as for me, I had kept my promise. No one messes with my daughter.